Hello and welcome to day 3 of the Core Strength for Low Back Pain Challenge. Today's exercise is going to be the bird dog. It is going to add an element of stabilization to our core strength exercises that we've been practicing. But first, we're going to start with our day 1 and our day 2 exercises. So we're going to start with 8 repetitions of our pelvic tilts. So let's go ahead and get started on the mat. We want our knees to be about hip width apart. We want our hands to be stacked below the shoulders so they're not out here. Okay, we're going to engage our core, and just a couple quick reminders. We are thinking about turning our hips towards our ribs, breathing out at the same time, and when we're holding that position, we also want to brace our abs as if we're preparing for a light punch to the stomach. When we release it, we'll breathe in. All right, we're going to do 8 reps. Here we go. So tuck, breathe out, breathe, and release, breathe in. Good. 2. Brace, brace, brace. And release, breathe in. 3. Breathing out, bracing, bringing belly button in. And breathe in. Again. 4. Hold, hold, hold. Release, breathe in. And now here we go. 5. Breathe out. Good. Keep that brace. Release, breathe in. Okay, let's take a couple breaths here. And 6, here we go. Breathe out. Release, breathe in. Okay, 2 more pelvic tilts. Here we go for 7. Breathing out, bracing those abs. Good. Release, breathe in. And our last one, 8. Tilt, brace. Good. Still breathing out. And release, breathe in. Okay. Great. Pelvic tilts done. Next, we're going to practice holding our plank. So if you didn't quite make it to holding that pelvic tilt for 20 to 25 seconds from the knees, you're going to continue to practice from the knees until you're able to maintain that pelvic tilt position. I'm going to do it from the toes. And just a couple of things to keep in mind. If you're doing it from the toes, you want to engage your quads, your glutes, and you want to keep your legs straight. And I think that's it. We're going to get into our plank position. You can hold along with me, but if at any point you start to feel like you can no longer hold that tilt or you can't get back into it, you feel your lower back is arching and you cannot adjust it, you feel any sort of pain, please stop the movement and rest. And that's enough for today. Then we're going to get into our bird dog. All right. So let's get into our plank position. We're all going to start on our elbows. We want our elbows to be in line with our shoulders. Okay, I'm going to pop up onto my toes and I'm going to count to 25 seconds. So again, if you can't quite make it to that 25 seconds, I want you to stop at the sign of any pain. When you're unable to return to that tilt, if you start to lose it, just drop down. Okay? All right. My hands are on the mat. I'm going to pop up onto the toes. My elbows are in line with shoulders. Pelvis is tucked. Glutes are engaged. Quads engaged. And here we go. So if you start to feel it kind of loosen up, you want to remember tucking hips towards ribs. Good. Keep breathing. Drawing belly button to spine. And release, drop down. Okay, so we're going to keep practicing our plank holds. If you were at your knees and you were able to hold for the duration, great. Tomorrow you're going to be ready to move up to the toes. If you were still on the knees and couldn't quite hold it that long, again, it's totally okay. The only way we get better is by practicing. So let's get into our bird dog. The bird dog is going to introduce an element of stabilization. So once again, we're going to start on all fours. We want our knees hip width apart. We want our hands stacked below the shoulders. And we're going to want to come into our pelvic tilt. With the bird dog, you're going to extend one arm while simultaneously extending the opposite leg, like this. Okay, you're going to want to go slow. You might notice you're a little wobbly. That's okay. Again, the only way we get better is with practice. And we're going to return to all fours. A couple of things to keep in mind. One of the most common mistakes that I see when people start doing the bird dog is that when they go to kick their leg up, the back arches. Okay, you might not be able to see it quite so clearly, but I can definitely feel it. I'm going to show you the difference. So this is with an arched back. Okay, you'll feel the pressure on your lower back. And this is how you want to correctly do it. So we're going to do that pelvic tilt. We're drawing our belly button towards our spine. We're maintaining that while we slowly extend. Good. And come back. So my goal is not to lift my leg up as high as possible. I just want to extend enough while being able to keep my core engaged and not shift my body weight too much. Okay? So let's do that for 5 more on this side. Slowly extending arm and opposite leg, keeping the core engaged, keeping that pelvis tilted. 1. Good. Bring it down. 2. Extend. Good. Bring it down. And you want to breathe out when you extend. You always want to breathe out on the more challenging part of the movement. So here we go. 4. Good. Bring it down. 5. Slowly extend. And bring it down. Now you might have noticed that your body weight really shifts to one side when you extend your limbs. That is normal. Part of the exercise is learning to brace and stabilize with your core so that you can keep your body weight in the center as much as possible when you extend the opposite arm and leg. So let's do it on the other side. We're going to go for 8 reps total. Since we had a couple practice ones on the other side, we did about 8. So here we go. Again, knees are hip width apart. My pelvis is tucked and I'm slowly extending. Good. And coming back to rest. That was 1. Okay, maintaining, going back to my pelvic tilt. 2. Breathing in. And breathing out. 3. Good. 4. Good. Trying to keep the body as centered as possible. 5. Return. 6. Good. Big breath in, take a second. Last 2. Make sure before you start each time that your knees are staying hip width apart. If they're too close, that will make you feel even more off balance. So widen them up a little bit if you feel like you're losing balance. All right, here we go for 7. Come in. And last one, 8. And return to starting position. So that's it. We just did our pelvic tilts, we practiced our plank, and we introduced the bird dog as an added element of stabilization. Things to keep in mind with the bird dog: go slow. If you feel wobbly off balance, again, that's totally normal. We want to focus on maintaining the pelvic tilt once again so that we're not arching the back when we lift up the leg. And lastly, we really want to focus on trying to keep our body weight as centered as possible. It's normal to shift a little bit to one side, but using the core, we really want to try to stabilize and stop ourselves from shifting too much from side to side. So that's it. Day 3 is complete. Great work so far. We only have 2 days left. I know that you can do this. And so I will see you tomorrow in your inbox for day 4.